For staying with us. You're watching our World Cup coverage, and what a brilliant victory it has been for India. They took their time and dug themselves out of a hole, but eventually KL Rahul and Virat Kohli led India to a brilliant first match victory of the 2023 ICC Men's World Cup. I'm Shivani Gupta. Joining me now is our expert panel, Mohinder, Amarnath, Graham Swan, Murali, Kartik and Venkatesh, Prasad, all with us. I thank you gentlemen for your time. Jimmy, when was the last time you saw a batsman upset that what he meant as a 4 actually became a 6? I'm talking about KL Rahul, of course. Last 5 runs needed, he was calculating maybe a 4 and a 6 to get to his century, and that shot was so good it crossed the boundary.
Yeah, fantastic, performance from India. I think the start was a big hiccup, I think Kishan, probably played a very poor shot, so his higher and all that. So I don't think they were honestly wicket-taking deliveries. But it happens when you're chasing a small target and all that. But I think they're still young. They will learn from their mistakes. But I think a fantastic partnership between KL Rahul and Virat Kohli. And Virat used all his experience and knew how to go about it, how to plan it. And the running between the wicket was fantastic. And whenever an opportunity came their way, they started scoring runs. So I think it's very difficult for a team to defend a target of 190 or 200 runs, especially in India where the wickets are good. I think we were a lot of things were discussed earlier that probably it may take, spin or maybe a double bounce and all that. But I think Indian batsmen are used to all this kind of wickets. They play day in, day out. So they're not a problem for Indian batsmen. They're chasing a small score over here. But I think the performance was outstanding. And it's a good start. I think when you're starting a World Cup companion and all that thing, and the first game is very, very important against a strong side. So I think it's a good beginning for India, and I'm sure things will always get it better, and we look forward to the rest of the tournament.
Yes. Venki, you must be happy and proud with that knock from KL Rahul. Some would say he has proved his detractors wrong.
Well, look, whatever little criticism I had about KL Rahul was about the test matches, not on one-day international, right? So, okay, so I've cleared that aspect with you. So having said that, look, that partnership was important. In the afternoon, in the mid-show, I did speak about it's not going to be easy to bat. It's going to be a challenging total to chase. And also, I think the Indian batters need to show a lot of patience and build partnerships. I think that's exactly what Virat Kohli and KL Rahul did. I guess probably, Pat Cummins, maybe, he could have continued with Mitchell Stark and Josh Hazlewood to begin with. Instead of bowling them just 4 overs each, he should have given them maybe an over or 2, because there's not much, the target was not big to defend. So in that sense, I think taking wickets was more crucial, and using your main bowlers, the wicket takers especially, using them as much as possible is more important, which I think he didn't do that. But again, I think Australia were clearly 25-30 runs short. 200 was too less a target for India.
Kartik, so much we talked about Ishan Kishan before this match, and as Jimmy Paji was saying, not the kind of shot you expect. Shreyas Iyer, coming in at number 4, again a loose shot in a bad situation. In fact, Yuvraj Singh tweeted saying that the number 4 needs to soak in the pressure, especially in that situation, and that's exactly the opposite that Shreyas Iyer did at that time. Your thoughts on this mini collapse that we witnessed? In fact, there were no runs scored off the bat before there were 3 wickets down for India, 3 batsmen on naught, and Ishan Kishan for a golden duck.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes after being hit hard, it actually shows you how good that knock was, or the partnership was. You can understand, I'm not defending them, but sometimes what happens is on a tricky track with a small total, sometimes the team talks about having a go in the power play, possibly maximizing the power play. And yes, it's about shot selection at the end of the day. And sometimes what happens is when you see a wide one, and look, we are going to give a lot of credit to Virat Kohli and KL Rahul, but it was not as if you asked Virat Kohli himself, it was not the most fluent of his knocks. He could have been dismissed many times. Quite a few of his shots were iffy on the offside. There was quite a bit of play and miss on the offside. He should have been out of that pull shot. and we could have been in a bigger hole. So people won't then say, oh, Virat Kohli, why did you play a shot like that? But I can understand why someone like a Shreyas Iyer or a Nishan Kishan could have done that. Rohit Sharma got an absolute peach to start off. But sometimes when you want to attack and want to capitalize the power play, you end up playing shots which you end up repenting later.
Just stay with me. Graham, I'm going to come to you in just a bit. Let me also go across to a couple of my colleagues joining us. Purnima, my colleague joining us from Chennai itself, and also Yash from the national capital. Purnima, just get us a few words. I believe there are some fans with you.
Well, Shivani, we are coming to you live from Seabros Gardens in Chennai, where the screening just happened. Initially, you were nervous when we lost 3 wickets in the beginning, but then we saw everyone celebrating in the end. How does it feel like now?
Yeah, it was really a very good match actually. After Virat Kohli and Rahul's entry, the match was going very interesting, and they sustained and they were actually for I think around 25 to 30 overs they were standing, and they were doing really great. But then still I expected 100 from Kohli, but unfortunately he got out. But still Rahul and Hardik Pandya managed to finish the match.
Who's your favourite in today's performance?
Now, to tell you honestly, this is a brilliant start for Indian team, and the way the Indian bowlers were able to bowl in line and length, it was very difficult for the Australian batsman to play, and Jadeja especially bowled amazingly into the line of the batsman, and later it was a bit thrilling that with the 3 wickets falling up very soon, and it was a bit thrilling match, and finally Kohli and Rahul made it up, and it was really a wonderful match to watch. Thank you.
Clearly you can see the excitement here, Shivani. Everyone is celebrating because it's India versus Australia and India beat Australia. Back to you.
Absolutely. Yash is at the Australian Embassy, I believe, in the national capital. They would be a little disappointed. They really had India on the mat for a bit with those 3 early wickets, Yash.
Well, absolutely, Shivani. There is a little bit of disappointment here, and in fact, I'm being joined by Mr. Tom and Mr. Carlo, who are the first secretaries here at the Australian Embassy. First match is gone. What is the feeling?
Look, it was still a great match. Obviously, when I sort of looked and saw 199, thought we were probably gone, but then 3 for 6, I think, at the beginning there. Hazelwood did great, but Kohli came in, and great innings from Kohli. So, look, the best team won on the day, but looking forward to the next one, and we'll see how we go.
Well, it wasn't a great start for Australia. When Australian side started bowling, it wasn't that great, but it was actually quite great. But eventually the match came in the kitty of India. What do you think Australian team needs to do better when they get on the field next time?
Well, I think what we saw today was how effective India was with 3 spin bowlers in the lineup, and how Australia was quite exposed, I think. And Jadeja, I can't remember how many wickets he took in the end, but he killed it. And I think for Australia, we play South Africa next, I think, and then Lucknow. And I think that's going to be a real test. As we saw, 3 South Africans last night made centuries. And then India obviously plays Pakistan in Ahmedabad. So I think for India, the next match is the big test for them.
Carlo, when we spoke before the match, you picked up your top 5 favourites, and in fact, all of them performed really well. What about that?
What can I say? I read my cricket notes very well, but I think I think obviously tonight we saw. Jadeja, I didn't mention him. I should have mentioned him earlier. Clearly, I should have mentioned some more spin bowlers, but no. I think Sharma. I think obviously it wasn't his night. But Kohli, and I think it really showed the depth in the middle order for India. I think that's what India could take away from this.
Shivani, you just heard how excitement is there at Chennai and in fact across the country. The fans are also here, and in fact they are elated. But they say the Australian team could have performed better, and in fact they're hoping for better performance from the Australian side the very next time.
Well, we did see glimpses of why this is a side to never take lightly. Graham, there's a reason catches win matches, right? Virat Kohli was dropped at 12 after India being down a hole by 3 wickets, and anything could have happened from there on. Do you also feel that, as Jimmy Paji was saying, maybe Australia missed a trick? They could have kept their pacers on for a little bit longer?
Look, I will never understand why, if you've got someone by the throat in a game of cricket, you suddenly change and put a spinner on just because the spinners bowled so well for India, and they were brilliant. But that's that's the strength of the Indian side. Australia had one chance in this game, and that was quick early wickets, and they took 3 wickets straight away. I don't care what you say, I've got no issue with the way the top four batted. They were going for their shots, getting off to a good start. You know, you're only ever an inch away from crunching it for 4. So Ishan Kishan, Shreyas, they shouldn't have too much thrown their way. When you've got such strength behind you, you can be afforded that luxury of trying to play shots. But Australia taking those 3 wickets and then taking their foot off the pedal, so to speak, not being ruthless. That's an Australia that I'm not familiar with. It's certainly not the Australia that I used to play against. I think it just shows that this Indian team is now so dominant and so scary for other teams to play that Australia were reluctant to be as ruthless as they always have been in the past. They had that game for the taking with those 3 early wickets, and then the ball in the air from Virat Kohli. You don't drop the king. What are you thinking, boys? And from that moment on, it was just an absolute masterclass. And what I liked about the Indian innings from that point on, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, that was good, old-fashioned, sensible batting. When they needed to put their foot down, they did. They just played very straight, very late against the spin, against the leggy Zampa in particular. KL Rahul was magnificent. He was hitting it almost out of the keeper's gloves, picking his gaps behind square. That is how you bat on a turning pitch. I won't have anyone say that was a bad wicket. It was a tough wicket, but it was a very good wicket because it offered something for the seamers, something for the spinners, and 2 guys nearly got 100. So magnificent from India. An 11 out of 10 performance after that start.
Yes, this is the kind of first match that gives you a lot of confidence because it's exactly the middle order that was crumbling for us a little bit. And Rohit Sharma has said this in the past that I want the middle order to be prepared for a 10 for 3 kind of a situation. It was actually much worse today. It was 2 for 3 and 2 of those runs were actually leg byes. Nobody got on the scoreboard with the bat when we lost 3 wickets. So it is the kind of performance that is going to give the Indian team a lot of confidence that we can get out of these holes. I'm going to talk about, of course, the bowlers that set it up for India. But when it comes to Australia, when it comes to a chase, when it comes to India, it is all about Virat Kohli all the time. K. Srinivas Rao, our group sports editor, is also joining us. What a knock from Virat Kohli once again. The build-up hasn't really focused on him because a lot of the attention has been on Shubman Gill, the hottest batsman for India right now. But when it comes crunch time, it is always Virat Kohli.
All right, Shwani, I can't hear you properly, but I'm assuming the question is about Virat Kohli and the chase, from whatever I could understand.
Yes.
And if
Yes.
I'm audible here, yes. If I'm audible here, then, well, I mean, nothing could augur better for India at this point in time than the man at number 3 coming back to plot a chase. It's unfortunate that both of them, fell short of what could have been a remarkable milestone, but then the bandwidth of the chase wasn't that much. But in whatever they managed to do, the beauty of the chase was of today's innings was that they've got back into the rhythm of a 50-over chase, and nobody in this world is better than that guy, Virat Kohli, to actually kind of lead India when batting second. His record speaks for himself. Not that batting first is any lesser for him, but then batting second, that chase under lights, Virat getting it right. There could be no better music to India and Rohit Sharma's ears right now. And I think that was the most pleasant thing to watch. And I'm just loving the confidence that KL Rahul is oozing, and these 2 guys are gelling together, which we saw in the match against Pakistan also. And now what we saw was a repeat. When those 3 wickets fell, initially there was a fear, and it took some time for them to settle down. But the moment they settled down, they saw off another 2 overs after those 3 quick wickets. Those 2 overs that they saw off, and then the strokes just started coming in. You could see the smoothness settling in. Some of the cover drives, exquisite, absolutely exquisite. So I think the touch was always there. It's this early wobble that kind of made them a little more. They had to be a little more careful. But again, I mean, these 2 guys, number 3, number 5. What better news can it be for India? By the way, also, since we are on the subject, this should give India stop order 1, 2, 4, whoever fell cheaply, to please understand that you need to respect the opposition here. You're not just facing any random opposition. You're facing the best pace attack in the world. You're facing Mitchell Stark, and what are those kind of shots that you were trying to play out there? So I hopefully even that is a lesson, and even that should augur well for India as a batting line.
Well, lots of learning certainly. Overall, though, I do want Jimmy Baji to also come in on the word on Virat Kohli. I don't know how many times we've said this, Kamat's the hour, Kamat's the man, but seriously, Virat Kohli, with the wealth of experience he has, and especially that chasing, and so much work went into that chase today. For a good 20 overs, they weren't really doing much. They were just getting those singles, which the Aussies failed to do actually in those middle overs. They got completely choked. But the Indian batsmen, both Virat Kohli and KL Rahul, ensured they continue to rotate that strike.
Yeah, Shivani, I see Viv Richard, Ricky Ponting and Virat Kohli in one Virat Kohli over here. So, so he's such a fantastic player. He's gone through, he's seen it all. He knows how to plan it, how to go about it. And I think what I like about him, when he goes and he doesn't think about anything else except playing his normal game. And he adjusts to the situation and the condition, whatever it is. So he's a champion player, and he has done it in the past, and I'm sure he'll keep doing that in this World Cup also. So that is the strength of Virat Kohli. He doesn't shy away from playing shots or take a risk when it's necessary. And I think at the other end, KL Rahul was an ideal partner for him, calm and collective. Like in all that thing, when you have two guys playing like that, they're very fit guys. They run well between the wickets and don't miss any opportunity. So this is what Virat Kohli is, and I think the equal credit should be given to KL Rahul, the way he batted, and he's a beautiful player to watch. I think it also shows in limited overs cricket, you have to play your normal cricket. You can't just slog. You can't just have a flying start and things like that. So you have to adjust to the situation, to the wickets, and only then you can carry on from there. And it's very important in India. I think one of the top order has to bat till the end to win matches.
Venki, let's not forget the bowlers. They really set it up for us. And as we were speaking earlier in the mid-innings show, our pacers did a stupendous job to really keep it really tight for the Aussie batsmen. Of course, getting that early breakthrough through that brilliant Virat Kohli catch again. So he was really in the mix all through. And then the spinners really choked the Aussies completely. So all round, what do you think is the biggest plus for India from this match?
I think the whole the approach, I would say, the way they came in, they obviously lost the toss and they had to field first. Otherwise, I would have felt that even Rohit Sharma would have batted on this pitch. But I mean, all's good. That's So the point is, I think. The bowlers did a fabulous job. I did say that it was not easy to pick Jasprit Bumrah because of the angle of release, and a few deliveries do come in to the right-hand batter, and just one holds its line, and that's exactly what happened. And what a finish! What a fantastic catch Virat took at that first slip. It was a half chance. It really went quickly to his left, and the reaction was really good. So the whole approach, the whole body language, they've been positive, and the fielding aspect in the first 10 overs in the power play was brilliant. The ground fielding, the catching, and also bowlers stuck to their lines and lengths. They didn't try much actually. They were trying to bowl stump to stump. They knew that it's going to be a two-paced track. A few deliveries might keep low, and when Ashwin was bowling, when he was hitting those cracks, there was a bit of turn and extra bounces, which make things difficult for Smith, especially, who was looking in good touch. So all in all, I think it is a fabulous bowling effort, and again, backed by some fantastic batting from Virat Kohli and KL Rahul.
Yeah. Kartik, do you think the kind of bowling performance we had today, especially with the spinners, I know this is Chennai, not every track is going to be like this, but it's going to make a few other teams a little nervous. If all of these three spinners get it on like they did today in the middle overs, it's going to be trouble for all other teams.
Yeah, it depends on the kind of tracks, isn't it? Even today, when you look at the way the bowlers bowled, obviously, you look who was more threatening. You look at the way Kuldeep Yadav operated, Ravindra Jadeja on a track like this, he's always going to be in his element because he doesn't give the wicket away. And in the last year and a bit, the same Ravindra Jadeja who used to undercut a lot of deliveries has started bowling a lot of overspin, which means that even on good tracks, he is getting enough spin. So it'll be interesting what India wants to do when they play on better tracks. Obviously, out of the 9 venues which India are going to be playing, out of the 10, Chennai, obviously, we've already played. That is one game done, which was going to help spinners. Lucknow, it's a relay track that has somewhat helped all the slow bowlers over whatever we have seen in the last 2 or 3 years. So that is one venue where I think India will be playing England, which will be interesting. But apart from that, most venues are small and most venues are going to be good tracks. So it'll be interesting if India do go in with the three-pronged spin attack. But having said that, look, all three are quality spinners, all three are good spinners. The question about Ashwin was always, does he have the mindset in the middle overs to pick wickets? It's not about whether Ashwin can or cannot. Does he bowl in that with that mindset? That was what was more important more than anything else. Today he bowled really well, and hopefully for India and from an Indian viewpoint, these three spinners, whenever they play together, operate in the same fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. Goem, if it was up to you, what is that one concern area for India before their next match, and similarly for Australia that they should look at or work at?
Obviously, the one area of concern people are going to say is 3 guys getting naught at the top. But actually, I'd flip that on its head and use that as a huge positive for India. You got into a position where 9 teams out of 10 in world cricket would have lost that game. 3 batsmen out without a run on the board from the blade. You lose those games normally. India didn't just win, they won at a canter after that. So that is a huge plus point. That's turning a negative into a plus. For Australia, well, I think they've got to go back to the drawing board and say, right, were we ruthless enough? Absolutely not. Were we? Normally, they're the best fielding team in the world. We dropped Virat Kohli, who went on to win the game. So that is a massive downtick for us. And how can we improve? I think they've got to be a lot more proactive in the middle order against spin bowling. They're not going to play many spin attacks as good as the Indian attack. Maybe Afghanistan are the only ones with a similar attack. And so they have to work out a way of scoring more freely in the middle overs and rotating the strike. If they're going to play on real turning pitches, they have to learn to bat like India did later on. As Murali said, though, a lot of the grounds are very small with very good pitches. So don't write off Australia yet. They could easily get on a run, thump some oppositions, get some confidence moving forward, and be a very difficult opponent later on in the tournament. But as I said earlier, India should be very happy with their day's work. Australia should be very unhappy.
I think someone was telling me the statistics that since 1996 World Cup, Australia has not lost its first World Cup match. So I think a run of about 20 plus years is coming to an end, either 1996 or 1999. So today was the first opening encounter World Cup match lost for Australia. And for India, since 2011, 2015, 2019 and now, they have been winning their first match, their opening match in a World Cup encounter. So make what you will of those statistics. They matter very little beyond a point. But on that note, I do thank all of our experts for joining us. They will be with us throughout the World Cup journey. Thanks a lot for watching today.